Hi everyone, this is Deana, and I am the Nightly Stitcher here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. It's Friday, January the 12th, 2023, and it is time for a WIP parade. Tons of WIP parades going on right now, so I just thought I'd put mine right in there. Oh, Isabel, I thought she fell off. We have Tutu. You want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Say hi. This is Tootie. For anybody that doesn't know, this is Tootie. Whoop! And Hannah is laying right here on her pillow. Hannah. Yeah. And the others are out roaming around somewhere. They're not out roaming around. They're in roaming around. It's cold here and we are getting ready to go into a deep freeze. This camera is a little wonky. Let me see. I think it's still a little wonky, but we're going to go with it. I have this tripod that if I mess with it too much, it's on the extender pole, it goes down. So don't want to mess with it too much. So yeah, this is my WIP parade. And I wanted to, I have to thank my husband. He sat down with me the other night, and I don't think I've ever done this before, but I took everything off of scroll frames that needed to be taken off so that you could see the whole design. Ones that aren't far enough along that the design is rolled up, we left them alone. But he helped me. We took all the ends off, all the wing nuts and the knobs, and threw them in a bowl, and then took the bars and rolled them up, and I have everything lined up out here on my coffee table. We're going to start from the oldest to the newest, and yeah, so I have to thank him for helping me out the other day, because that was quite an ordeal, and it's going to be quite an ordeal to put it all back together, but it'll be fun. I enjoy looking at it after I do the videos too, so you know, if I go back and watch one of my old WIP parades, I can see how much I've done over the years, and how I've come along on the ones that aren't finished from years ago. But anyway, I hope to finish up some of these this year. So don't know too much about anything that's been going on. I do need to do another Flosstube as soon as I can. It's been a while. I think it was before Christmas since I did a video. So I think it was the first part of December or so. So I need to get another regular Flosstube done. But anyway, let's get started on this. I wanted to share just some stats with you. And I put my glasses on. So last year, for anybody that doesn't know, let me go back a little. For anybody that doesn't know, I track my stitches. I have a calendar calendar book, and then I also have a little scrap pad. So whenever I stitch, I always write the day down and then the project that I'm stitching on. And I am a paper copy and highlighter person. I've never tried to stitch on like a tablet or anything. I'm not sure if I'd like that or not. I am a paper and pencil person. So anyway, I do my stitches, and as I highlight them off on my copy, I count them, I write them on this notepad, and then at the end of the day or tomorrow, at least I have the day, the project, and the stitch count written down. So I can total all them numbers up and then put it in my calendar book for the day. So that's the way I do. Sometimes I'll do it the night that I quit stitching. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 nights, or if I fill a little notepad that I have, if I fill that page and I haven't logged that, I will go ahead and log it at the time when I get ready to throw that page away and start a new one. So anyway, I do track my stitches. It doesn't take long at all. like I said, as you're highlighting an area, you just count the stitches and write them down. Just takes an extra second or two, because a lot of people highlight anyway. So, you know, if you're highlighting and counting as you go, it's very simple to do. So anyway, I do log all my stitching. And so last year I made a list. Last year I worked on 27 different projects. I actually had around, I think I had about 32 projects last year. Going in January, I think it was around 32. But anyway, I had 27 projects that I actually stitched on. And with those 27 projects, I also totaled up, I kept a running total every month of how many stitches I put on a project each month. So when I finished up the month, I would total up the stitches for that month, how many projects I stitched on, what projects I stitched on, and what else? Oh, and then I would just log the stitches, and so each project had a total at the end of the year. So anyway, I had the 27 WIPs that I worked on, or 27 projects. I ended up with 100,963 stitches for 2023. And I finished 12 projects. Now, some of those I also started last year. So, you know, if they were a very small project, which was my plans for last year, I was not going to start anything big. It had to be a small project that I could whip out in a day or two. So I did get some of those done. So anyway, I did finish 12 of those 12 projects for last year, so that's not too bad. I just need to FFO. I am terrible at FFOing because I just don't take the time to do it. I mean, when I get it done, I'm really proud of it. I love to show it off, but I just am not good at finishing, and that's something I need to really work on this year, is finishing some of my regular finishes. So anyway, the top 10 I did in stitches, the Halloween hijinks, which y'all saw finished on a previous video. I think it was maybe the last one or the one before that. That one got most stitching done on it. It got 16,984 stitches. So that was a finish for last year. Quaker Gone Tropic, you've seen that in the past. That was an old WIP. It got 14,138 stitches, and then following that was Alphabet Blocks by Carriage House Sampling, and it got 11,043 stitches, and then it just kind of goes down under 10,000 from there. So those were my top three. Last year I wanted to start out the year by stitching on my oldest WIPs, and I was going to go in order from oldest on up. And I did that, but I did stitch a little bit. I think I broke it up a little bit with some other stuff, but I did try to really concentrate more on older WIPs. I make plans, and my plans never go as planned. I don't know why they call them plans. Because it's going to go awry somewhere along the line, and I'm not good at being told what I have to stitch on. So I stitch on what I want to stitch on at the time. I may not stitched on something for a year, and just out of the blue, I decide I want to stitch on that. So, and then there's sometimes I'm stitching on something and I may stitch on it for 3 weeks straight just because I'm enjoying stitching on it and I haven't gotten tired. Once I get tired of it, it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm ready to put it away for a while. And that's the way I was with one of the projects the other day. I stitched on it for several days, and it was coming to the end of the evening, and I told my husband, I said, okay, I think this one's ready to go back in the bag, and I'll pull something different out. So that's what I do. I've tried WIP Go, and it works really great for some people. It doesn't work for me because, as I said, I don't like to be told what I have to stitch on. I've tried the thread a day. That doesn't work either. I just get started stitching on something and I just stay with it. So I have come to the conclusion after all these years that I just stitch on what I want to stitch on at the time. If I want to stitch on, if I want to start something, then I just start it and stitch on it until I'm tired of it, and then it goes into the WIP pile along with the others. So anyway, that was my stats for last year. So I was going to look back in some of my other project, or my project planners, and see how I did in 2022, 2021. I started tracking my stitches in 2019, and I think that year it was just a partial. I don't believe I started it in January. So, but in 2020 I did start it in January. So I change them up a little bit each year. I tried this last year to keep a few more details, like I said, as far as the individual projects, how many stitches I did on those. So I wanted to get a little bit more detail. And then one thing I have tried in the past that I keep forgetting, it's just I forget about it, but I've wanted to take a picture of my project, and so I can post it in my video, and you can see from the time I stitched on it last to what it is now. And every time I pull a project out, and it was this way last year, every time I pull a project out, I would start stitching on it, and then I'd be, 2 days into it, and it's like, I forgot to take a picture. So that hasn't worked out well either. I've tried going through and taking a picture of everything in the first part of January, and then I forget I have them, so I just stitch and stitch, and it just doesn't work for me. I just don't know. But anyway, let me start pulling some projects. These are the patterns for all of them. I have them all in the order from oldest to newest, and hopefully, or I hope you enjoy watching this. I have no idea how long it's going to be. I have first of all, I've already, I was going to say lost my notebook, but there it is. So I just finished logging all of these, 32 WIPs. Now, I only had 31 at the end of last year, and I wrote down, I've never done this before either, because I'm not very good at details, but I wrote down the name of the project, the designer, the stitch count, the fabric, the threads, when I started it, and any special notes. So if you have any questions about any of these charts, just send me a message or comment below, and I'll try to answer your question for you. Let's see, what else? There was something else I was just thinking. Oh well, we'll just get started if it comes to me. Oh, I know what it was. We were talking about plans. I was going to do the 12 by 12 on the 31st of December. And I had that all planned, had it all laid out, and then my husband's brother called us and wanted to know if we wanted to come to their house for New Year's dinner. So that's what we did. We left here about 5 o'clock, and 4 or 5 o'clock, and didn't get home till 10, and then I was ready for bed. I think we did watch some TV. But anyway, I got no stitching done from 5 to the time I went to bed. So I did work on a couple of projects that day, but my 12 by 12 plans didn't pan out. So anyway, this is my very oldest WIP, and I would love to have this finished this year. I think I can do it if I just keep it as in my main rotation. So this is Alphabet Sampler, not Alphabet Sampler, Alphabet Blocks. It's called The Whole Kit and Caboodle by Carriage House Samplings. And that, let me try to get it, let me see if I can see and show it to you at the same time. It is done all on one piece is what I've done with it. Just like they showed, except, let me roll it the other way. Except I did a little bit of changing on it. So this piece, like I said, is a Carriage House Samplings. This is from 2019. And the stitch count is 235 by 293, so it's good size. And then the fabric I used is 36 count raw linen. And some of these I'm guessing at, so I think it's raw linen because I have a lot of fabric that doesn't have color names on them. The thread that they called for was Gentle Art. I'm using mostly DMC and a little bit of the overdyed. I started this project May 27th of 2019, and I am changing all the background colors. So this is where I am at so far. Let me see if I can do this. So I have 3 more rows to do down through here. And it really only takes a couple of nights to do a block, so it really doesn't take that long. I'd say it takes 3 nights at the most, but it doesn't really take too long to do it. I stitch a row like I did down here at the bottom. I'll stitch in all the areas here along where the big blocks are. Then I'll put in the words, and then after I get all 4 of those stitched, I'll pick a color out of there or out of the box that I'm using. It could be a color that not necessarily was used in here, but it looks good overall. So I pick a color and then I fill in the background. So I like the look of this. I need to carry the border on down and then finish that up. So like I said, I think I can finish it this year. I just need to keep it in my main rotation. So I'm pleased with what I got done last year. I did get a lot, and this is the one that got the most, I think it was the second one that got the most. Let me see. Third. It was third on the list with the most stitching because the other 2 I finished. So anyway, that's alphabet blocks. The next one, and I'm going to have to keep looking over here because I have my notepad with all the information written on it. So this is one I'm so tired of looking at. It's just one of those pieces. I liked it, but I'm still I haven't worked on it enough that I really want to get this done. Let's see, this is called Winter House Trio by Waxing Moon. I guess I could put this up here. It looks a little better maybe. Winter House Trio by Waxing Moon Designs, and I love their designs. I have most of their designs, but I haven't stitched them, a lot of them. Each one of the little squares, they come with 3 in, show it. I am terrible at this. What is going on? I guess, I don't know. Anyway, there's 3 designs here that you get with each pattern. This is Winter House Trio. And each design is 61 stitches by 79. The fabric I'm using is a 28 count linen, and I don't know the color of it. I have to get it pulled up here. I think it may be a clay, but I am not sure. 28 count, and the threads that were called for were Gentle Art, and I used some Gentle Art, and if I didn't have the color, I substituted with another color that would work with it. So y'all have seen this one many times. It's been around forever. So this is also a 2019. I did this one, and it is completely done as far as I know. And then this one needs the house filled in, which is not going to take long. So I should be able to get that finished this year too. This one is completely done, and I stitched it 1/1, and that's why it's so much smaller than these, because I wanted to see how it looked to make them into Christmas ornaments. So I really like the 1/1, so I think I'm going to switch them out and start doing them 1/1 and do Christmas ornaments. And then you know how you can look at something and everything looks fine, and then all of a sudden, after you've looked at it forever, you notice something doesn't look right. So the other day when I was messing with these, I looked at this door and I thought, that door looks funky. Wonder what is wrong. So I think I was ironing it because these were wrinkled up. So I came down and I looked at the chart. That's the gray house, isn't it? And can you see the door on the gray chart, on the gray house? I forgot. I don't know what I was doing. I did not put the extra stitch on this side of the door. It's in the right place. I don't have anything off as far as being offset, but this needed a white stitch there. And what else was it? That's it. It just needs a white stitch there, but I got the white stitch here, got the one little stitch up here, and forgot the other one. So I don't want to take it out, but I am gonna see if I can't just put a stitch over the top of that gray. I've done it before and you've never noticed it, so I'm gonna try to do that. So anyway, yeah, I want this one done this year, so that's gonna be on my priority list also. Let's see, I gotta figure out where to put all this. Okay, that was started, I don't know if I told you, May 27th of 19. So then next in line is one of my favorites, and it seems to be a favorite of everybody else's, because out of all of my pieces I get more comments on this than I do any other project I've shown. So this one is a Flower a Day Stitch Along by Carolyn Manning, and it is 223 stitches by 225 stitches. And the fabric I used, not called for, but the fabric I used is a 16 count Aida, and I dyed it with yellow Rit dye. It called for the DMCs, and that's what I was using as DMCs, and I love the way it's turning out. I don't have a whole lot more to do, just kind of come along here. This border should be about the same. So I have a decent amount still to do, but let me pull it back here. I still have a decent amount, but I am very pleased with it. Give you a little bit of a close-up of it. But this piece is one that you have to really pay attention to. You count and double count and triple count. I'll count it, put a few stitches in, double check my landmarks, make sure everything's still lined up, and just keep working my way through. But this one has been so fun to stitch. I've really enjoyed stitching this piece. It's a doozy, but I don't know how many stitches are in it, but it's really been a fun piece to stitch. I know that won't be finished this year, but I'm going to keep stitching on it. And what I had done last year, I think I started it maybe in November. Let me pull this back out, but I think it was about November. I decided on my paper copy, I just started marking off little sections and do a flower a day, and I explained that in one of my other videos. But every day I did one flower section, and it may have took me 20 minutes, it may have took me a half hour, 45 minutes, but I did that one little section. And I thought by doing that, I'd have 7 of them done every week by working on them like that. So I thought that'll move along a lot faster, and it really did, until Christmas rolled around and I fell off the wagon on that one. So I get back started on that. I don't know if I said when I started that one. I started that one July 12th of 2019. And then the next one was also a 2019 start, and I know I'm going to finish this one this year. This is Santa Village. I don't have the patterns because I have the piece, and they come in 12 of the little block, small patterns. And I didn't want to get all those out because you're going to see it here anyway. So, anyway, Santa Village is by Country Cottage Needleworks. Each little design is 72 by 88, and there's 12 of them. The fabric is 36 count linen that I dyed myself, and the threads called for was Gentle Art and DMC, and that's what I'm using. And I started this September 3rd of 2019, and this is what I have now. So that's the first row, the second row, and the third row. I have one more building to do, and that is the hot cocoa cafe. So I really like this piece. I didn't like it at first when I first started it. I decided I actually, what happened, I saw this done on a blue, and then I didn't like mine any longer. So I had really wish I had started it on blue, and then the more I looked at it like this on my videos, the more I thought, I really do like it. So I have decided now that it's okay. So I got to get the hot cocoa cafe done, and then I have to go back. Each one of these little buildings will get a button. Mrs. Claus, the Santa, the reindeer, they're gonna get probably the petite and the elf. They're gonna get petite Mill Hill beads for eyes, and I don't know, Santa may need a button on his shirt. I'm not sure, but I do have all the buttons that they used on it, and then I'm gonna add the beads instead of French knots because I never like the way my French knots come out. So I'll kind of show you. I gotta get my glasses on again. It uses a lot of DMC, but occasionally it will call for an overdyed, and I'm trying to see, like this was an overdyed, the green, and yeah, there's this strange little green section right here because I guess I ran out. I don't know. There's some above the door too, but that house is got some overdyed, but doesn't call for a lot. There's some green, and the roof is done in overdyed. So I like that real well now. Anyway, that one is going to be a finish, and I think what I'm going to do is take all of these that I know I can finish this year, and I'm going to put them in a separate box or bag so that I can work on them more. So then we have next, after Santa Village, I have to change pages. So this is going to be, those were all 2019. So I would really like to get those finished or near finished. Like I said, I don't know that will get flower a day done, but I think I can get the rest of them done. Okay, so in 2020, the first thing I had was Cardinal Point. And where'd my pattern go? It fell on the floor. So January 1st of 2020, I started Cardinal Points, and it was by Long Dog, and it I guess it was a collaboration between the Gentle Art and Thread and Long Dog Samplers. So this is the pattern. I know you all have seen this. A lot of people have been stitching on this over the years. And I used all the called for colors, and it is so pretty. So this is my piece, and I will give you the stats on it. It is running 225 stitches by 225 stitches. I stitched it on 18 count white Aida. Which is what they called for. I don't usually stitch on white, but I liked the cover photo so well, I decided I was going to stay with the white. But I did the 18 count white Aida. The thread, I used all of the called for Gentle Art. And I really like this piece too. So I'd like to make, really like to make some good progress on these older WIPs this year. Then number 6 is Calendar Girls. And I grabbed a couple that I already had finished because there's 12 of them and I still have some to finish. But these are how I'm finishing them. And I just happened to grab November and January, and both girls are done in brown. So I should have picked something that was a little bit more colorful. So, and dog hairs. Imagine that. I don't have any dog hairs in my house. So anyway, this is how I'm finishing them. I have just a shirting on the back, and then I ordered these little iron-on labels, and I put them on anything that isn't a framed piece. So that's the way they are, that I'm finishing them. And I still have, let me look here. I pulled my copies out. June. I have June, July. I can't turn the page. August, I think, yes. September and October. And I will be finished with them. So I'll show you right quick. This one you already saw. This is February. I've shown these before, so I'm just quickly going to go through these. March, April, May, June. That's when I need to do next. July, August, September, October, November, you just saw, and December. No, what happened to December? Back to January. I don't know. It's probably still in the bag. So anyway, that's Calendar Girls. That's by Little House Needlework. They're 46 by 67. I did them on a 28 count even weave that I dyed myself. The thread that they called for was DMC, and that's what I used. And I started this January 12th of 2020 was when I did my very first pillow. So I have all the backings. I just found some shirting. And when I made my first pillow or two, I just cut the backing fabric ahead for all 12. And there, it's in my sewing room, so it's all ready to go. So I wouldn't use that for something else and then run out. Was my main concern. Okay, the 7th project I have from 2020, not the 7th from 2020, the 7th project I have is called Consider the Lilies. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to take my needle minder off. I've got my color code. I ended up doing this with my needle magnet, or my needle. I just did the little code and then cut it out and put it on here because I can just use my needle magnet and put it right on the piece. So this is Consider the Lilies by Heartstring Samplery. It is 435 stitches wide by 363 stitches high. It's, the fabric I used is 22 count hardanger. The color I use is kind of a tannish color. I'm not sure what you would call that, but I'll show it to you in a second. The threads they called for was Classic Colorworks, Weeks, and Gentle Art, and I converted it all to DMC. And I started this piece April 24th of 2020. And this is my progress so far. Oops, I'm hung up down here. Let me roll this up just a bit so I can handle it. So, this is my progress so far. And I stitched on this a couple of days this year. January 2nd or 3rd, I think I put a couple of days of work in on it. And I did this flower and a little bit of a vine. I did this right here, this flower, the horse, this, the hedgehog, this little vine of flowers, this little pot, and this little thing here. So I did that over a couple of days. And I don't know what I'm putting in right. Oh, it's a bee. Yeah, there's a bee right there. I think what I'm going to have to do with some of these, like the bees, I may take a very light gray and outline around the white. I'm not real sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm not real fond of ghost stitching. I want it to stand out. If I'm going to put it in there, I want it to stand out. I don't want it to jump out, but I want you to be able to see what it is. You know, if an angel has white wings, I want you to be able to see the wings on the angel. So, oops, wait a minute. There's December. It fell on the floor. All right. So that's Consider the Lilies. The next one I have is called Flowers of the Month, and it's from a Just Cross Stitch magazine from 2020. Actually, it's from that year of magazines. There was 2 in each issue of the magazine. You got 2 designs in each issue, so that gave you the 12 flowers of the month. And each of the designs is 39 by 62, so they're very small. The fabric I use is a 32 count, and it's a color, or the color is, get my brain working. The color I dyed myself. So it called for DMC, and that's what I used. I have these 2 ready to go, and I have these 2, and then I have this one, and I just pulled out a scrap of fabric that I thought I could get all 12 of them on, and it's going to be fine. But that's the fabric I dyed. So I really like dyeing my own. I do buy some of the dyed fabric, but I really like playing with dyes. Not that I do it that often, but I do enjoy doing it. Okay, so that I started May 1st of 2020. And then the next one, I had a color photo of it, and I can't find it. I had it the other night, and it's not in the bag because we took it out of the bag. But it's called Woodland Animals. Oh, here, I never did pull this. See, isn't this just a train wreck? This is the fabric I'm using for my calendar girls. So back the train up a little bit. This is what I'm using for calendar girls. But of course I left it laying over here on the table, so I thought this was going to be smooth sailing. I was going to start here and just work my way across, and yeah, we haven't even gotten through the first stack yet, and it's a mess. So anyway, Woodland Animals, it's 3 animals out of a Just Cross Stitch Christmas book. There's a hedgehog, quail, and I always have trouble. Hedgehog, quail, and a third one. I don't remember. But anyway, shoot. Cannot remember what it is. But anyway, it uses, well, each one of them finishes out at 53 stitches by 67 stitches. And I did stitch the quail and finished it into an ornament. And I don't have it to show you because it's packed away. I did use 28 count Lugana, and then the thread called for DMC, and that's what I also used. I started this on May 14th of 2020, and it also called for Mill Hill beads, so I'm adding those. And gosh, I wish I could show you the picture. Maybe we'll find it later. Who knows? It may be mixed up with one of these others. But anyway, I had done the quail several years ago and finished it, and so then the other day I was going to start the next one, and I have 2 stitches. No, 1. and then I came up at the next spot. So this, it's sliding off, is my progress on whatever the next one was. I think I was going to do the hedgehog. I just wish I could remember what the other one was. But anyway, that's not much worth showing, but that is a project that I have going. And then, let's see, let me lay that over here. The next one I have is another big one. It's called Dutch Beauty, and you're gonna see through all this. I really like big projects. I like little projects too, but for some reason I am always drawn to the big projects. So this is Dutch Beauty by Perman of Copenhagen. It is 384 stitches by 645 stitches. And the fabric I used is a 36 count, but I'm not sure what the color of it actually is. Hold on just a minute. I got a needle right there that I need to get pulled off before it gets lost. Okay. I don't know the color. It's just kind of an antique white, I would say, or yeah, I'd say something along that line. Anyway, it called for DMCs, and that's what I'm using. It was started on September 9th of 2020, and let me get this, oh, here, let me show you the pattern. This is the pattern. I think y'all have seen some other designers working on this. Try to get it to where you don't get quite so much glare. I found out in my first Flosstube I did from my couch that having this blind open is a disaster because it gets light and dark while I'm videoing. I have my window, I have my blind up right here. I've got a 150 watt lamp over here. So I'm hoping it all works out without too much glare. So this is Dutch Beauty. And it's one of those long, several year pieces. So I need to turn it around. And my husband, I go to needle minder. I don't know where it went. But this one was so big, it's on my floor frame. So it comes off only for WIP parades. And then my husband had to make these bars. He makes my bars for me anyway, but this one is like 42-inch scroll rods. So this is my progress so far. I did change up a couple of colors, I think, that was kind of blending into the fabric, and I can't remember what ones they were. It might have been like those little angels or cherubs or whatever they are. I think it was their skin tone I changed. That's about it. So these are a couple of needle minders I made out of some brooches, which I like. It's running. This one's kind of crooked. So those were a couple of just brooches that, this one was actually a brooch of my mom's, and I decided to make it into a needle minder. So I think of her when I see my needle minder. And I'm never going to get this rolled back up very even. It'll be all right. Okay. Gone through that. Ah, there's my needle magnet. Okay, so we're done with 2020. The next one, 2021, my first one of the year was Vintage Birds by Jeanette Douglas. This is the chart. I have not worked on this much. I don't think I worked on it at all last year. This is the Jeanette Douglas. It's 145 by 156. I'm using a 36 count linen, but I don't know what color. I did not dye this piece, but I don't know what it is either. The threads that were called for were Gentle Art and Weeks, and that's what I'm using. And this is my progress so far, which is the same as my last WIP parade. And I started this January 1st, 2021. I did not do a January 1st start this year. I have done a January New Year's Day start. It's snowing a little. Squirrel. Anyway, I did not do a New Year's Day start this year because I have, I think, 3 New Year's Day starts, and I felt like I did not need another one. So I didn't do it. I just stitched on something else. Okay, next I have is, let me put that one over there. My next start is Mary 395 by Hands Across the Sea. It's 378 stitches by 396 stitches. I'm stitching this on 40 count linen, and I'm not sure of the color of it either. The thread I am using, I chose my own color. I'm using DMC 498, and I started this April 5th of 2021. And this is a big piece. And I think there's a couple other people that are stitching this. I think maybe Sarah Stitchy Spot. I think she might be working on Mary 395. So that is my, okay, hang on a minute. Wrong project. Okay, this is Mary 395. Not a lot of progress. I did work on it a little bit this last year, but I did not work on it much. A day or two, I think, which, you know, at a day or two, you don't get much done. So I would like to, I just like to stitch on all of them every day, but it doesn't work that way. Okay, let me flip the page. So we are up to WIP number 13. That is called Big Red Ship of Life by Ink Circles. Turn it so you don't get it so much glare. Get it there. Big Red Ship of Life by Ink Circles. It is 345 stitches wide by 421. And then the fabric I'm using is a 20 count Aida that I dyed myself. The thread, I chose my own color, and I'm using 304, DMC 304, and I started this on Christmas Day, 12/25 of 2021. My husband got me this for Christmas, and I started it the same day. And I also have, if you're familiar with Ink Circle ships, there is the Big Red Ship of Life, a medium Red Ship of Life. There's a small, I don't think it's called Small Ship of Life. I think it's called something. I don't remember. But then there's even a fourth one, I think, that's called The Least of the Fleet. Small, less commitment or something like that. It's called the Small Ship of Less Commitment, something like that. So if you don't want to stitch the big ones. And then I think there's a fourth one that says the Ship of Lesser Commitment, something along that line. Or the Least of the Fleet, that's what it is. The Least of the Fleet. And it's real little from the way it looks. And I have all but one, so I need to get the others. I think they'd be cute hung all together, but I'll probably never get it done. So this is Big Red Ship of Life. I dyed this with a Rit dye in a light blue, a little bit of purple. And I really like my fabric. So that's it. And I really enjoy stitching on this one too. So I need to work on it. Isn't it funny how you'll have these all stuck away and you know you've got them started, but once you see them, it's like, oh, I want to work on that today. So I think I need to rotate a little more often. Okay, so that was the last of 2021. Then on, no, this isn't a New Year's Day start. I was thinking it was. 2022. Let Freedom Ring by Lila Studio, or Lila Studio, however it's pronounced. And I think it's Lila Studio, but I had a sister-in-law, Lila, and she spelt it L-E-L-A. This is L-I-L-A. So, anyway, Let Freedom Ring. I love this piece. I saw this stitched up at StitchCon, and gosh, it made me want to come home and just work on this steady, and I didn't do it. But I did get more done this last year. I did work on it. This is, I'm trying to read these without my glasses, 238 by 311. And I used, the color is a question mark, so I am not sure. The thread I'm using is the called for DMC, Gentle Art, and one Classic Color Work. And I started this February 2nd of 2022. And this is my progress so far on it. Now, I didn't, I could have unrolled it a little bit, I guess, but the stitching actually stops right there. So we didn't unroll it. So this is how much I got done. And this past year when I worked on it, I stitched all this dark green because it was out of stock for a long time and I couldn't get it. I can't remember what the color was, but I couldn't get it for a long time. So I got all the dark green put in here. I extended the border over. I worked on this right here. This is over one stitching, so I stitch on it a little bit. And then I came over here and started working on the, yeah, is that Independence Hall? I can't remember. So anyway, that's what I've got done with that one. And then my next one is it's called Village Sampler by the Prairie Schooler. This is an oldie of theirs. It's book number 15. It's 139 by 181. The fabric I'm using is a 36 count linen, and the color is another, I don't know, it's a tannish color. The threads that I'm using is the called for DMC. However, I saw a picture where somebody changed the colors up, and I saved it on my phone, so I'm thinking I may change these colors up a little bit as I go. I started this on March 4th of 2022. This is the chart. It's a little rough, but I think I found this. Can't remember if I bought this online from somebody or I just found it in an old, like, flea market or something. I find stuff there off and on, but it's a little beat up, but the chart's in good shape, and it's the card stock. So, but this is number 15. So, lay that down, and then this is how much I've gotten done on this. And I'm doing this, like I said, on 36 count because I have a wooden box that I had someone make for me, and I was going to use it. I was going to use the wooden box for another project, and then I changed my mind, and it just happened that if I did this on 36 count, it fits in the box perfect with a nice even border on all four sides. But I did see this stitched up where they changed out and added more color to the buildings and some of the other stuff. So I think I may change those out as I get to them. I'm just going to refer back to my phone. Let's see. The next one is Scandy Christmas Baubles. It's by Counting the Stars on Etsy. This design is 193 by 291. The fabric I'm using on this is 28 count. I dyed it a very light blue, and I am also, let's see, I'm using the called for DMCs, and I started this March 23rd of 20. Let me put this up here so you can have something to look at. I started this March 23rd, 2022, and I'm stitching this 1/1 on 28 count. So as you see, there is not much progress. But the colors are very different for what I normally use, with the blues and the reds and pinks, and I think it pulls out every pink and red and orangish and teal and blue shade that DMC has. It's very, very tedious, but I still like it. I'm still going to work on it. I don't usually abandon projects. I like them well enough that I keep stitching on them, and I might get tired of looking at it or tired of stitching on it, but I still, whoops, I have a dog knocking my stuff off. I still like it well enough that I finish them. I just, over my lifetime of stitching, which has been like 45 years, I have not abandoned but maybe 2 or 3 projects. Okay, next in line is a page change. Cape Cod Girls. And Cape Cod Girls is by the Primitive Needle. And it is 100 stitches by 231. And the fabric I'm using is a 22 count hardanger, and I dyed that myself. The threads called for are Weeks Dye Works, and I'm using some of the Weeks Dye Works, and then I'm subbing out some if I don't have them. Because there's so much small stitching, I wasn't going to buy a skein just for something little. I started this April 1st of 2022. I think it's really cute. It says, Cape Cod Girls, they have no combs. They comb their hair with codfish bones. And I had never heard of this, but I guess it's some kind of little, I don't know, some kind of little saying, and I'd never heard of it before. But I guess it's not just cross stitch. So this is my progress. And like I said, I dyed the fabric. And I also have Cape Cod boys that I need to stitch. So that's my progress on that. And the problem I had, I started stitching this with 2 strands on 22 count, and I didn't like it. So I ripped out the boy. I had started stitching on the boy, Cape Cod, and let me see. I can't see. I ripped it all out, and then I ripped some of this out. Is this the one? Yes. I started the border. I am gonna sneeze. I always do this on here. Anyway, I'm sorry. Right here, when I was ripping this out, I cut a thread. So I went up in my sewing room and I got the teeniest, or the thinnest interfacing I could get, and I ironed it on the back and stitched over it, and you'd never know it. It's just fine. It's right in there, but see, you can't really tell. Oh, are you gonna cry? You better quit crying. Okay, somebody has to have her attention. Okay, this was Cape Cod Girls. Thank you. Thank you. My next one is, I'll get my elves on that. What? What do you want? Do you want down? Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay, the next one I have is I'll Get My Elves on That. It's by Lizzy Kate, and it's the 2009 Santa. There. And I am doing this, well, let's see, the stitch count is 80 by 81. The fabric I'm using is a 28 count Lugana, and I think it's a mushroom color, and it's 1/1. And then the thread I'm using is Weeks Dye Works. No, it called for Weeks Dye Works, but I'm using DMC. So this is my progress on this one. Well, I came along pretty good. I should have worked on it. I didn't work on it around Christmas. I should have. And I probably could have had it done. But I like to do all these Lizzy Kates. I do them over one, and then I make them into Christmas ornaments, and they make the cutest Christmas ornaments. And then the next one is Santa's Got the Goods, and it's a Lizzy Kate 2008. And it came with the buttons and the charm, but they're going to be too big, I think, to use on here. I'll use them for something else. So this is, hold it still, turn it a little bit, there. Santa's Got the Goods. Can I get it? Looks like it's blurring out, there. So anyway, yeah, I'll just use the charms and the buttons on something else if they're too big for this. And this is all I got done on this. And you all, if you've watched my channels before, this is a great way to use up ugly fabric you're never going to use. I think this was an old kerchief that you would use, you know, tie it on your dog or whatever. And I just cut it up in strips, sew it on the sides, and then I can get it in my Q-snap, and I can run my, I don't have to cut my fabric so large, because I don't waste fabric. By the time you lose 2 inches on this side and 2 inches on this side, you know, if you start in the center or whatever, it's like, you could get another project out of it. So I have this to do some more Lizzy Kates on too. But yeah, I usually allow 1.5 inches. I usually frame everything close, fairly close. So I usually allow 3 inches extra beyond the design size, because that gives me 1.5 inches all the way around. But to put it in a Q-snap, which I hate. I don't like using Q-snaps, but I'm running out of scroll rods and my husband needs to make me some more. But anyway, to get it in a Q-snap, I have to sew the fabrics on. And there went another needle minder. Hopefully the dogs don't get it. Okay. I'm going to pause just a second. Okay. I had the sniffles, and I figured you didn't want to hear that. Next in line is Elizabeth Pen Pitkins, and it's From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. It's 202. Get it to where we don't get the reflection. 202 by 202. The fabric I'm using is Fox and Rabbit Flannel Flower. It called for Gloriana Silk, Needlepoint Ink, and Weeks Dye Works, or DMC. It also had that. But I converted all of it to Splendor Silk. And I love stitching with Splendor Silk, so I've been trying to expand my supply of Splendor Silk. But I also have the fabric to do this and to do this piece here. So this was, let me check here. Yeah, this piece was supposed to be my birthday start in 2022, which was the 7th of July. And my husband and I both got COVID. So I spent a week on the couch, pretty much, and I didn't start this until July 13th. So basically a week after I got over COVID, or after I had it. So anyway, they can hear you whine. Do you need to whine? So this is my project on this, Elizabeth Pen Pitkins, using the Splendor Silk conversion. And the way I converted this, I pulled all the DMCs, and then I just converted it over to the Splendor Silks and bought those instead. Do you want back up here? Come here. I think you coming up here? If you're going to lay down, you're going to, okay, well then come on. Come here. Okay. All right. Let me take care of the baby. Take care of the baby. Say hi. Yeah, say I'm a baby and I'm spoiled rotten. Spoiled rotten. Yeah. Okay. Can you go get on the pillow with Hannah? All right. I changed my page. Now she's scratching me on the back. Okay, number 21. My Stitching Treasures by Jeanette Douglas. That is this. My husband bought me the box last year for Christmas. Well, not like 2023, but 2022. He bought me the burl wood box. I thought for a minute I wasn't recording because I saw a 10 on there, and that's where I stopped it a while ago. Okay, so he brought me the box, and this is Jeanette Douglas. It's 126 by 170. The fabric I chose is a 32 count. I don't know the color of it, but that's what it requires to go into this lid of this box. It called for a Veer Soie, needlepoint ink, the Thread Gatherer, Rainbow Gallery, and Gloriana. And I bought the thread pack for it. And then it also has charms on it, and I bought the charm pack for it. It says Mill Hill Beads and Charms, so I bought the pack for that. So I also have the accessory pattern, and I don't think it's pictured on the back, no. But I do have the accessories that go inside to do that if you want to. I don't know if I'll ever get it done. All right, where is it? So this is how far I am right now. I've got it sectioned there. I have it all sectioned off, and then I just have that one little area stitched up there. There's specialty stitches all through this, but I'm gonna love it when it's done. It would be an heirloom piece whenever I get it done. So anyway, what is next? Did I say I started that on August 23rd of 2022? Next comes the Pink Sparrow sampler from With Thy Needle and Thread. A lot of people have stitched Pink Sparrow sampler. It's 137 by 169. The fabric is a 28 count linen, of which I don't know the color of. The threads that it called for was Week in Gentle Art, and I converted it to DMC. And I started this on September 5th of 2022. I love this piece. I've said it before that I like it. I've seen it stitched up, and I didn't buy the pattern. Let me try to roll it up a little. I didn't buy the pattern, and then I'd see it stitched up again, and I didn't buy the pattern. And finally, I thought, there went my tripod. Okay, that was a lot of fun because the tripod dropped, then the phone twisted, and then stuff started falling off the table. So I'm going to attempt to piece this together, and hopefully it will work and the tripod won't move anymore. I think I'm just going to have to trash the tripod. I don't really want to do that because it's one of those balancers that you can go around and it keeps your phone level, but to extend that tripod out, it doesn't work for that. So anyway, as I was saying, I had seen this stitched up and I loved it, and I didn't buy the pattern several times. Every time I saw it stitched up, it's like, yes, I want it, and then I see the cover, and this does not sell me at all, but this does. So I absolutely love this piece. The colors are so much more vibrant in it. So anyway, this is one I would love to get framed up, or get it finished and framed too. So this is Pink Sparrow Sampler, and I didn't realize it when I had the avalanche that my book went to. So all right, Miss Lucy Cowcut, she is next in line, and I'm afraid to even touch that table, so I'm going to be very careful that I don't do too much. I'm not going to put anything back on that table. Miss Lucy Cowcut, 1825. There is a Lucy Cowcut, 1826 also. I saw somebody stitching on it last night, but this is Miss Lucy Cowcut 1825. Information on it. It's by Just Stitching Along. It's 273 by 393, so another good size piece. It is stitched on 36 count linen. I dyed myself. Let me get it up here. And the threads were DMC or a Vera Soie, and I'm using all DMC. And there's one that barked at us. So this fabric I dyed myself, and you can see I took some coffee and kind of plopped the grounds down on it and let it set with the grounds on it, and then I shook it off after it dried, and that's what I got. So I'm not too far on her. It's not any farther than where it's at right down here at the bottom. So that's why that one did not get unrolled. So then next in line is Happy Haunting. This is Happy Haunting by Lola Crow. I bought this off of Etsy. This is one that I know I can get finished this year. I just have to get going on it. It is, let me try to carefully lay that down there. Lola Crow, it's 90 by 110. The fabric I'm using is 28 count pewter Lugana, I believe. I kind of guessed at the color. The threads are DMC, and I'm also adding a glow in the dark with it. Oh, that's one that fell in the floor. I just didn't pick it up. The stuff that fell, I left it laying. Okay, so this is Happy Haunting. Stop whining. Happy Haunting. All I have left to do is the ghost, I believe. No, I have to finish across this bottom, which I noticed the last time I showed it because I haven't stitched on it. I have to go across the bottom with the black and then start filling in the ghost with the glow in the dark. So that is Happy Haunting. 24th project. The 25th project is Tall Turkey. Come here. Tall Turkey. It was a kit I found at a flea market. It's by Heart and Hand. It came with the fabric and the button. It did not come with the threads. But it's 58. Try to do this. 58 by 77, so it's a small project. The fabric is a 32 count Belfast tobacco. And like I said, it came with it. So this was one of my 12 and 12 in 2022. And I have not worked on it since New Year's Eve. This is all I have. I just chose my own colors for it of Gentle Art. And that is, and it would be a quick stitch. Again, just got to get on it. Okay. Then next in line is Silk Bee. And this was a little kit that I found. I can't remember. I've had this for so many years that it had the fabric and the threads in there. And I don't know where I got it. Yeah, it has the chart, but I've got the chart highlighted so much that I don't think it's going to help anybody. And it's a bee. I mean, you can find them everywhere on the internet. So anyway, this is by, hold on, Amy Law. Oh, it says, okay, I made note. It's apparently was a free, something free from Krennic. It was a 28 count even weave. The thread is all Silk Mori by Krennic. So I think it must have been a freebie trying to promote their Silk Mori threads. This was one of my 12 and 12, December 31st of 2022. And that's all I have done. It's close to a finish too. So see, all of these need to be thrown in a basket and whipped out. They just need to go which is maybe as we put these back together, I can do, because my husband is hopefully going to help me put all these scroll rods back together. We took all the end bars off where we had to. We took all the end bars off and put them together and put a rubber band around them, but all the knobs and wing nuts just went into a bowl, so we got those to deal with. Okay, the next one I have is Harvest Hexis by Hands On Designs. This was a kit that a full kit that I won at a Stitch Retreat in Orange Beach, Alabama 2 years ago in the fall. And it came with the linen, the felt to make the pillow. It came with the backing fabric for the pillow, and I think it came with all the threads too. I think it was, oh, my notes is itching. I think it came with everything I needed. So anyway, this is, I didn't do a stitch count because it's all going to be cut up into pieces. So it's 28 count natural or raw linen, what I would consider 28 count raw or natural. And she gives you great instructions. If you've never done any of her small projects like that, she gives you so many details on the instructions. I've looked them over. I haven't done any of them, but a lot of photographs, really explains well on them. So she does really a nice job of that. This is all the farther I've gotten. I divided my fabric up. I needed, what, 9 pieces, I think? I'm not sure. I think it's 9 or 6. Maybe it's 6. I divided them up, did a pencil line down through there so I know, and then I started in the middle of the square. So that is Harvest Hexis by Hands On Design. Then the next one is a Prairie Schooler. It's the Santa Tanner, no barking. No barking. I talked to him, but he can't hear. He has lost his hearing. So I have to shake my head at him. No. So this is Prairie Schooler 2006. And I started this as one of the 12 and 12, December 31st of 22. I think that year I had 12 lined up, but I only got 9 started. So I've got 5 here. So 5, yeah. So I must have finished the other 4. So let me see if I can get this out without, nope, you're going to have to go over there a minute, without hitting the tripod. I didn't take it off this lap stand. So this is my Prairie Schooler 2006. It's 57 by 75. I'm doing this on 18 count Davos khaki, putty khaki I think is what it's called, and I'm doing 2 threads over 1 thread because it's a very coarse weave and you get better coverage by doing that. And then let's see, oh, I already said I started this on New Year's Eve of 2022. Okay, we're almost done. Peacock Sampler. This is by Twin Peaks Primitives. I love this pattern. It is 286 by 339 stitches. The fabric is a 36 count linen that I dyed with a light blue and gray. The threads are all called, it calls for DMCs, and that's what I'm using. And I started this January 1st of 2023. And this was my 3rd New Year's Day start, and that's not finished, and that's why I didn't start one this year. So, gradually get this out of here. That's a thin linen, so I don't know if you can see the color better. It's a blue-gray, which I love blue-gray fabrics. But for some reason, it just looks like the colors just really look nice on blue grays. So this is all. This is just barely goes beyond that. It's just the pole of this, so I haven't gotten much done on that. But I really like that. Okay, 3 more to go. Carrot Set by Roveris. That right here, I bought, whoops, let's get this turned. I bought this, I can't see at the same time. There. I bought this when I was at the retreat in Orange Beach, Alabama. And it has a really cute button that I also bought right there. Probably finish it like they did with the rickrack. But anyway, this is called, I mean, they don't really, their designs, I don't know whether they go by numbers or what. I called it, Carrot Set. I was going to say I called it Carrot Set because that's what the sign said. But yes, Carrot Set. It is 97 by 170. The fabric is a 36 count that I dyed with green and brown. The thread called for was DMC, and that's what I'm using. And I started this March 22nd of 23. And that's what I have so far. I should be working on this for spring. So, that was just an experiment with green. I was wanting to get the green. Let me show you. I wanted to get the green, this green. And I played with dyes, and once I got to this green, I liked it a little better, so I just stayed with this. All right, whoops, that doesn't go down there, the pattern does. Hold on, there. This goes over here. All right, the next one is Halloween in the City by Crochet A Go-Go. If you watch Mouse Potato Design, she's also stitching on this, but she's a heck of a lot farther than I am. And I have gotten, let's see, it's 237 by 268. And it is just so darn cute. And I'd love to get the Christmas in the City that is similar to that. This is 237 by 268. I'm doing it on a 36 count linen. I don't know the color because I bought this fabric at Keepsakes last year during StitchCon. And it had the stitch count on it, but it didn't have the color name of the fabric. And they didn't know what it was either. So this is one of those mystery fabrics that even Keepsakes wasn't sure what it was. But it's really nice. I want to keep a scrap of this and see if I can't find it somewhere else because I really, really like this. It, let's see, calls for DMC, and I'm using those. And then I'm also using Glow in the Dark, which Mouse Potato Designs is also doing Glow in the Dark. I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the Glow in the Dark, but I like to use Glow in the Dark for Halloween pieces. So that's all I got done on that. Tanner, no. So that was it for 2023, but I am going to go ahead and show this one. I had a new start this year, and it is Long May You Wave, and it's number 1 of 20 and 24. And I am stitching 12 designs out of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. And then I have a Twin Peaks Primitive book that I'm going to do 12 designs out of it. And then that's going to be my 24 and 24. They have to be small projects. This is, I lost my page marker. This is Long May You Stitch. And I started this the other day, and I'm making really quick progress on it. I left it on my lap stand because I am still stitching on it. So it's Long May You Wave, and I've always said I don't use hoops because I hate hoop rings. And look at me, I'm using a hoop because I have run out of scroll rods, small. I've got a couple of sets that are great big. I've run out of small scroll rods, and I have run out of small Q-snaps. So the only thing I have left are hoops. I need to go back and double check my scroll or my Q-snaps because I think I'm out of them. But the other day I've been spending time cleaning my quilting room, and I think I found a couple more, so I could switch those out. But this is Long May You Stitch. It's got stars that go down here and across the top, and then I need to extend the flag out more. I still have to do that. So, but anyway, I started this on January 5th of this year, so it is now a new WIP. So I'm at 32 WIPs. So okay, well, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed it. I felt like I was so messy. I mean, not messy as in everything everywhere, just messy. I can't seem to just have a smooth running, go with the flow kind of thing. So I thought the other night after we got these all lined up on the coffee table, it would be such smooth sailing. And it wasn't, but I guess it could have been worse. But anyway, I hope you all had a good New Year's, good Christmas, good New Year's. We had a really nice Christmas and New Year's, and then haven't done anything since. Stayed in the house. It's too darn cold. We have a winter storm warning coming in for today and the next 5 days with snow. We already have snow. We got, I don't know, some of it's melted off. They said we had 3.5 inches, but I don't think we had that much. But anyway, it's melted off the streets and the sidewalks and the driveway. But anyway, it's on the grass, and they say we should get about another 1.5 inches today and tonight, and then we go into sub-zero temperatures, which you all know the weather in your area, I'm sure. But if you're not freezing, then you're getting flooded. So flooded and lots of snow, and yeah, this crazy, crazy weather. But my husband and I were going to run to Columbia today and get some weather stripping for our front door because we have a little area about this big that is leaking air when you put your hand in front of it. And he went to 3 places here in town, couldn't find the felt weather stripping. So we were going to run to Columbia and do that, drop a couple of things off that needed to go back to Amazon. And we got up this morning and it was super foggy. And I thought, I don't really want to go to Columbia today. Well, it ended up, we were having coffee and a friend of his called and said, hey, you want to go to Columbia with me? And it's like, yeah, you go to Columbia with him. So he took off with him, and I said, I'll stay here and I won't get out in the cold, and it's a great time for me to do my video. So I was wondering if he wasn't going to walk in the middle of it. So I just feel kind of self-conscious to have him here when I'm doing it. I don't know why, but he really supports me, but it just feels kind of weird. So anyway, I hope y'all are having a good New Year, and hope you get lots of stitching done. And I will be back with a regular Flosstube, hopefully within another week. I'm going to get all this stuff together and pull everything together that I've bought and that I got for Christmas. I got some good Christmas stuff. So anyway, get all that pulled together, and I will be back with another Flosstube. So until then, I hope you all